we're live then, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Hard Rocker Apex Legends. I am KnightFall here, I'm joined with RacoonGod. Yep. Good to see you here. First time on live Hard Rockers channel, so thank you for joining me.
Of course, of course. It's good to see some Apex play today. I haven't gotten to play in a bit, but seeing how the season's wrapping up and the beginning of the Octane Collegian is good.
Well, it is going to be good indeed here on screen now. We are watching Hard Rockers labeled Team 9, loadout of Storm Cobalt, Nathan H2O12, and Seed Bob Dot here. Great legend picks, kind of standard what we expected to see from them.
Yep.
We will, I believe we landed right outside of Big Mod in the city, and from my brief looking at the drop locations, there will be a potential team over at Big Mod that Hard Rockers are planning to rotate into and jump on and ruin their day.
Yeah. Got some interesting loadouts so far, with Storm running a 30-30 and R99. I saw that Seed was running an EVA 8 and a flatline, though I don't know how long he may hold on to those. Both amazing weapons, though. And what is Nathan? Ooh, he switched out for a Mastiff, actually, which may be a solid pick.
I think we've got a Seedbot is definitely a. We're gonna be seeing a lot of the long-range, mid-range poking weapons and some short-range finisher weapons. Having played in one or two of these Octane games, it's either long-range poking or up-in-your-face shooting. It's nothing in between.
Nathan's got weapons made for both with a G7 and a car. Very good for that kind of mid-range poking to long-range with the G7, especially with that 2x bruiser. And then, of course, the car is great for up-in-your-face kind of damage dealing without the heavy recoil of a R99, and the ability to switch with heavy and light ammo, which can have great effect for that resource management.
Now, if we've noticed here, Nathan has pinned some potential enemy locations over by Big Mod. Hard Rockers look like they're going to rotate over there. Ah, perfect. We've got some enemy locations here so that we can kind of tell what's going to go on. Hard Rockers rotating into Lava Pit.
Yeah. Looks like there's no one in Big Mod, actually, but a team has appeared to have just begun rotating out, possibly into whatever the location is right outside of it.
Big Mod has been looted.
Oh, yes.
So more than likely a team came in, rotated out, and then begun repositioning into zone here. We've got round one closing in on the Hard Rockers. Give them about 2:45 before they've got to get into zone. And even after being looted, we're going to have some gold weapons coming out by the Hard Rockers here. I don't think Seed should pick up the Rampage. But
no, yeah. Rampage is a bit of a weapon that needs some reworking, but...
Now that purple EVA 8 is a potential good pick, especially with Seed running that Mastiff here. Mastiff is not in the best... it's not worked out the best right now. It's kind of meh.
Yeah, switching out the 30-30 for a Hemlock there was an interesting choice, but if you've got Nathan running a G7, it makes sense to have something that's more of a burst mid-range instead of that long-range. Interesting, interesting.
And on top of that, the Hemlock is in a very good position right now.
Absolutely.
It's got some ooh, looks like we do have some enemies over in Geyser. Looking at Hard Rockers do have their location. Team 19 has gone down. That is the first team to go out in this match.
Hard Rockers, will they follow using Geyser, or are they planning to move through this opening here?
I think they are going to move through that opening there. Big choke point up on that hill. Ooh,
looks like someone's landing on them
here. Hard Rockers opening up Seed, not able to get any shots on. temp shields coming out and ultimates being thrown.
Very quick and sudden jump. They must have moved in from the other side of Geyser onto the
We've
team,
got
but
a knock there by Storm Cobalt.
Making quick work of some of the stragglers.
Getting caught off guard there by one of the enemies. Ooh,
unfortunate
Storm Cobalt
positioning.
very, very low. Nathan looking to get around here, does go down. And Seed gets a huge Mastiff kill here. Looks like maybe we've got a second team coming in. Seed having a wonderful opportunity to perfect revive there by Seedbot.
Using the Bangalore's tactical to his advantage, as well as kind of having the cover underneath this building while the teams engage each other in the enclosed space.
There is a second squad in this matchup here. Great call by Seed to revive Storm first. Having Conduit's extra shields there are going to be very, very crucial. I'm curious to see how she's going to change next season, as she will potentially be getting another charge of her tactical as one of her skills.
Interesting, interesting. We'll see how this changes up the meta for these team comps.
Hard Rock is getting some good damage on enemies. Once again, that choke point really taking away opportunities. Hard Rockers look like they're going to rotate out
through the storm, which around this rock, it's totally fine to do that, especially with low damage right now. It might get them out of the fight, and they can possibly sweep back through that choke point and hold people out after this fight.
And that would be a very good play for them. And at this point of the game, the name of the game is surviving. Storm is not doing a whole lot of damage, so rotating out of there is probably the best call for Hard Rockers.
Absolutely. They don't want to get swept in by another team right as they're cleaning up the rest of them, so maintaining resources and getting better positioning is definitely to their advantage.
Now, credit to Hard Rockers, great team play there. Even after both teammates went down, Seed stayed around, waited for the perfect opportunity to get revives out, and his team is up and thanking him for it.
Yeah, they clearly kept their cool there and stuck together, stuck through it, which is the right way to go about this. Team play is the way to go in Apex. There's way too many people who are willing to dip thinking they can take 3-on-1s, but making sure, especially in this, that you've got a full team comp is important. And risking a revive, especially this early, you could easily have teams sweep in on you at any angle and take you guys out again.
Now, if you're noticing here, we see a lot of these teams have purple, gold shields available. However, there are a lot of blue shields still left out. Hard Rockers, though, as you can see, Nathan 140 damage away from upgrading to that purple shield. We'll see how they approach that, if they're going to sit and poke. Oh, they have been engaged by another team here.
Other team using the tunnel underneath the street to their advantage for getting cover, but Hard Rockers,
super low on health, is able to get away.
Hard Rockers should attempt to use this rock possibly for cover. Good conduit ult there, blocking rotation around that side of the rock, pushing them possibly through the right here, keeping them in a good choke point, and they can use the houses to their advantage.
Hard Rockers not having a catalyst, so taking away area is definitely going to be a struggle, so using that conduit ult when you can. Great move by Storm Cobalt here. Unfortunately, they have got teams all around them. Might be a good chance to use that Ashel to get out of there.
Absolutely. Getting a rotation to kind of leave this pinch that they seem to be in. Hopefully bringing these two teams together and getting them off their back.
It might be a good opportunity for Hard Rockers to third party in. However, right now I think they're going to hang out just by the edge of Storm, looking for a good opportunity to make a move. 17 squads left still. A lot of possibilities for error.
Hard Rockers hopefully looking for an opportunity here to drop in as a third party instead of being dropped in on.
As you can see, that Bloodhound tactical is thrown out. Does not pick up Hard Rockers, however, so they will have the advantage of secrecy.
Though that crafting may have given them away a little bit.
Well, if you're not risking it for the biscuit, then what are you doing?
That's fair, that's fair. I believe that was, oh no, that was not a shield upgraded. That must have been a shield bad. Yes, it was, which is a good choice. Making sure you have proper amount of resources for healing, especially in fights, is important.
Hard Rockers were picked up there by the Bloodhound tactical. However, I do not anticipate that team moving very much, especially as it appears they are also getting looked at by a second squad.
Yes, but they are holding a building, which gives them good advantage for cover here. We'll see what the Hard Rockers can do with what they have.
Hard Rockers looking like they are getting some damage off.
Some of these shots passing through little openings can really catch you off guard, especially if you think something like those rails might help you, but if you're not careful, a stray bullet can really catch you.
Now, it is good that they have that conduit again. Those temporary shields make poke fights a little more economically viable as... My bad, I just got word from our other caster. Hard Rockers here playing this poke game. Once again, this is pristine Apex gameplay.
Yep. Seems like there's no team rotating around right now.
Ooh. Shield broken there by Nathan, H2O.
2 clean headshots with the G7 can really do some damage.
Hard Rockers maybe not in the best position here. You got teams all around them. They are right out in the open. Round 3 about to begin.
Hopefully they can use that Ash ult once they land to reposition quickly, as it appears that wherever they land may be out in the open unless they've got some quick thinking about them.
And when you're getting shot at, those jump towers are just a grueling thing to be on.
Absolutely. Using a small trailer. Cover here seems to be a good option for the time being. Though they are out in the middle of this circle, there may be some issues with that, especially with not having windows, just openings on the sides of this. Opens them up for some free headshots if they're not careful.
Not a whole lot of ring space here for 16 squads. It's going to get very busy very quickly here. Hard Rockers just trying to stay on their feet, maybe pick up a few kills or two, but these poking fights are really not working in their favor. Hard Rockers have location of some enemies here. Those conduit walls really going to make it hard for Hard Rockers to bust in there, and a second squad over on the other building.
Seems that Bangalore has thrown their ult down on top of the building, possibly from inside to ward this team off from being on top, but hopefully the Hard Rockers can rotate around and steal this other building for their own use. There appears to be a team inside of it.
I think Hard Rockers are going to play it safe and just stay on top, trying to get these two teams to clash with the third party in on them. However, it's going to take something special to get that going. Nathan 2-Note does have his ultimate ready. He could knock down some doors and use those grenades to bring down at least 1, maybe 2. However, I think they're going to wait until they give them an opportunity.
Yeah, possibly waiting even for ring to get a little tighter. They are in ring right now, so this may be a good place to hold. Kind of squeeze out the teams who still have to make it into the zone as it closes here soon.
Squads dropping left and right. Team 18 does go down. That leaves 13 squads in the making here.
It appears they're kind of just biding their time, using the cover they have on this roof and waiting, but I believe both teams are aware they are there and they're just waiting.
Patience is the name of the game right now here, as we see one squad below, one squad over in the over in that extra building here, but Hard Rockers in great positioning. They will have zone this next round, which allows them to bide their time and not have to rotate and leave themselves vulnerable here. Team 14 does go down. Team 13 and 4 are also eliminated. 10 squads left.
Team 17 now too. We're down to 9, which makes about sense for round 4. This is getting real tight, and that means that squads will be dropping even faster now.
Get sauced on is the kill leader right now with 3 kills. We'll see how this fares. We've got, looks like maybe a team in the storm there. Hard Rockers are going to get some shots on. Great to boost their shield damage.
Absolutely, especially with Seed still having blues this late in the game.
Conduit, enemy conduit all coming out here, trying to take away some any
peeking advantage they have.
Indeed.
Seems like it wasn't placed as well as they may have hoped, though. Still giving them an opportunity to peek and get their shots in as they need.
However,
keeping eyes on that door, too.
Absolutely. However, that second squad over on the side here is bound to be picked up by this enemy squad here in the opposing room. Looks like Hard Rockers maybe trying to push in. However, I think it's going to be for naught as another conduit comes down, taking away any Hard Rockers' chance of getting into that building.
I think using the backside of this building for cover for now until the ring really forces them out, though they are still in ring even on that corner. I think this is their best bet, staying right here, waiting for either that team to push or another team to push in.
It does look like a Kraber is in play, so Hard Rockers very much need to watch those headshots because those are devastating, especially without red shields.
Yeah, even with the removal of the one-shot kind of knock here, it's still important to be wary, as it can be a very big resource drain to have a peak fight with someone who is really good with a Kraber.
More enemy combatants going down at every corner here. Hard Rockers just playing it safe here. This is very good gameplay by the Hard Rockers here. It's obvious Nathan's leadership on this team has been absolutely fantastic for them.
Absolutely. We can see they're starting to become a bit of a resource drain here. Nathan handing out some of the resources he's collected. Hopefully the team maintains their balance here and doesn't run too low before the end of this ring.
If it wasn't for this enemy squad in the building, I think Hard Rockers would have a lot easier time, maybe some more health heals. It will be crucial for Hard Rockers to get some fighting in so that they can gather some resources. And this Bangalore ult is really going to make it uncomfortable for Hard Rockers on this building.
Good usage of finding a little space where there's enough spacing between the missiles to actually avoid damage and a stun. Hopefully encouraging a team to push in on them even though no hits were taken.
We see some Watson fences really going up here. She is also getting a very needed buff in this next season. It seems like another team is taking notes from the Hard Rockers. Buildings are the key to success. However, this next zone close is going to really cause problems for these edge teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's going to get pushed into the center here. Hopefully we can use the advantage of some of the higher ground that's been given on this side of the zone, and we can take out some of the teams that are coming in from that edge behind the fence. Though it looks like that fuse on the other team that's holding the other roof may really push them off and drain some of their resources if they aren't careful.
Now I know we are aware where the other teams are. I'm sure Hard Rockers have a general idea here. It'd be great for them to have a Maggie right now.
Absolutely. Using some of the tactical advantage of being able to hit through walls would really drain some of the resources here and increase their damage. Unfortunately, they do not.
Ooh, and this zone now closing in is going to put a lot of pressure on some of these enemy teams. Hard Rockers are going to be able to get some good shots here. This would be a great time to use some of those grenades.
Absolutely.
Team 16 does go out.
Keeping an eye on this rock for any rotation from Team 16. Hopefully taking some shots here, yep.
Good damage on there by Seed. Throwing out his tactical, will get a snare.
This would be a good chance for some thermites. Yeah, that's what we like to see.
Absolutely. That would have been a really good opportunity as well. Ooh, we're going to get a jump tower here. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work. Great movement play here by the Hard Rockers as they use the gravity lift to jump in on that enemy team. Temp shields coming out. They drop one. Hard Rockers got good pressure on this enemy team here. Moving around, Seed unfortunately goes down.
Nathan getting height advantage,
and
coming
Hard
up
Rockers
behind.
wiping that squad.
Absolutely. Good revive from Storm onto Seed so they can get back
Team
into
12
the game.
is out. It's a final two situation. Hard Rockers are up on health. They're going
to push this right
lots
now.
of pressure on. Unfortunately, Nathan does go down. Storm Cobalt trying to bide his time here. He is also going to go down. It is up to Seed Batat to walk away with this. Unfortunately, he cannot, and Team 5 is the victors.
It looked like that Horizon got a good shield swap off of, I believe it was it Nathan who went down first?
I believe so it was. Now, shield swaps are getting changed again next season as well. However, Great gameplay by Hard Rockers
Absolutely.
there. Tons of patience, great positioning. Unfortunately, they just caught a bit of a better team at that end.
It was a little rough there too. Even though the other team did have a health disadvantage, they did have that height there that they used to rotate down around the rock, and Hard Rockers were a little split over that ledge, which caused a bit of disjunction between the two sides of the team and unable to coordinate their attacks.
And if you're asking me, I think that just comes with a little bit of inexperience. I know Seedbot is a newer addition to their team, as Ghostly Hems will not be performing this semester. However, he is up there coaching that team right now, and I know he's got some very good things to say. Hard Rockers having a great showing there on this last match.
Absolutely, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what happens during the Octane Collegiate as we come up on this season change as well. New updates coming, especially with the, I believe it's an Evo upgrade. Legends will begin to kind of almost create a skill tree, yeah. And we'll see how that affects these types of team comps, especially with pretty standard ones where we'll see Storm, Nathan, and Seedbot play the same team comp, but possibly with different upgrades and new advantages brought to the team. We'll see how they can work together and use these things to their advantage.
Awesome. Well, while we wait for these teams to get ready and up again, we are going to send you guys to a quick break here. However, stick around because we've got more Apex Legends coming your way.
Absolutely.
Welcome back, everybody, to Game 2 of 6 here. Game 2 of 3 on World's Edge. We are once again running a good team loadout.
Absolutely.
You ask me. Hard Rockers once again picking those same legends here, Conduit, Ash, and Horizon. I think they're really hoping for that second place victory here. Hard Rockers over on Team 9.
Here's a good spot to touch
Believe they are going to land. They have what we call chocolate shell selected. However, whether or not they land there is up to interpretation, as unlike AAVGL, we do not have to land at our designated spot.
Ooh, that's nice. Gives them a bit of opportunity for flexibility here, but it might be good to continue landing in the same spot, get comfortable with where they're going and what the loot tables look like.
Hard Rockers look like they will, in fact, be going towards Big Chocolate Shell here. They will leave Big Mod and this, and what, oh gosh, the Western City away to the opposing, looks like UVU green. We saw some great gameplay by Hard Rockers last match here. A top 2 placement was not able to beat the final team here. However, Hard Rockers are very much going to be going into this next match with some revenge on their minds and some winning in their soul.
Hopefully. It was interesting to see Seed for a moment. They're running the R3 P20, which is a favorite of Storm, but switching out the P20 first for a Nemesis and then for a PK. That is very good for close range, especially being able to charge it, and especially if you can land those shots.
Absolutely. We know last match C-Bob was running a Mastiff, which in my opinion is a very interesting pick here. He is going to switch out for the EVA 8.
Hopefully with a little more of that automatic fire, can fire a bit quicker and hopefully hit more of his shots, especially if he's missing. I've always heard that it's better if you're having a good shotgun day, go for something like a Mastiff or a PK. If you're missing some of your shots, an EVA 8 will clean it up because you've got a bit more of that automatic fire and more damage output.
And absolutely, and unfortunately for the P2020, there is a little bit of nuance with whether you're going to hit 99 or 9.
Yeah. RE45 Spitfire on Storm. That's interesting. After the changes with the Spitfire becoming a light ammo weapon.
Now, I am not privy to what's currently in Crafter, but if hammer points are there, I believe that is what Storm is potentially looking at grabbing.
That would really help out the team, especially with the damage output increase on the RE45.
Storm going to go to do a little bit of a odd move there, as when you do craft shields, Conduit does not heal you. I have learned that the hard way.
Interesting. And back to the Mastiff, actually, instead of keeping that EVA 8.
And Storm Cobalt switching off that RE45 over to an alternator.
I think that's a good pick, honestly. RE45 can be rather unreliable sometimes with its spray pattern as well as its difficulty to control its recoil. The alternator having very solid recoil, very easy to control, and having a good mid-range, close-range capability.
And it does about approximately the same damage as the RE45 to begin with.
Yeah, just over a bit more time, but especially in a peeking game, it's better to kind of have those spaced shots. You're not using as much ammo as quickly, and you're more reliably hitting.
And you have I believe a larger mag as well.
Yes. R99 30-30 on Nathan. Nathan once again going for that kind of peak game he was playing last time with the G7 Scout.
And Nathan here also having Skull Piercers. You do have shots on an enemy, and you're going to start firing. Nathan Storm Cobalt does have disruptor rounds.
Hopefully sweeping in for a third party. Looks like they'll take advantage of going into the building here to try and clean up this party.
Great little ultimate there by Conduit. Ooh, we get one knock here. Ultimate is going on. Hard Rockers pushing in huge. We get a second ult, and Storm Cobalt is going to squad wipe that enemy team.
That Conduit ult, especially in a tight space, deals so much damage, especially if you are unaware of the enemies nearby. Being caught in it can be so dangerous.
10 damage per second per pylon is absolutely destructive, especially when you've got 3 dropped right on your head.
Yup, when the pylons stack, things get dangerous very quickly. And if you're unaware and looting while stationary, you'll run into some trouble really quick.
Hard Rockers seeing that second team there and letting them fight it out before they move in. Great move by Hard Rockers as they caught him with their pants down, as I like to say.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was great to see Storm using Horizon's tactical to his advantage to chase down that Horizon and just keeping fire with that Spitfire.
Hard Rockers over in Lava Siphon currently here. This is where I believe they probably took out UTSA White.
Would not surprise me.
I guess we'll continue to see how the rest of this match goes out. Hard Rockers with a very early squad wipe, so they are going to be in very good position here, get some points on the board.
Absolutely, and that's very important for this, especially where it can come down to points just based off of placement. But wiping out teams early and getting the advantage in points makes their last game coming in second and holding position really good for them.
Yes, and especially last game there where they had, I think, around 6 kills, so two teams under their belt. Helps them a lot because obviously placement's going to score them a lot more points in this tournament than kills. However, those kills really help, especially when something goes wrong and you get put down a little earlier than you anticipated.
Seeing them this time around with 3 sets of purple shields is way better than seeing them last time on round 4 with still with the blue in the team and not maintaining full shields. This time using height to their advantage to keep their eyes out for any rotating teams. One up on the road there, though I don't know if Nathan saw them.
I believe there was some location pings there by Storm Cobalt here. I do like to note out Nathan here with a fully kitted 30-30 with skull piercers here. He is an absolute demon with that weapon, and I have some very good hope that it's going to help Hard Rockers out in the end.
An almost fully kitted Spitfire with such a large mag size can be such a danger.
I think it's the best gun of the game.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great gun. No matter how much they try to nerf it, the Spitfire always maintains its place near the top whenever it's on ground.
A little bit of Apex trivia for some of you players that might be newer to the game. The Spitfire used to be a heavy weapon, and back in season, I think it was season 11, they switched it over to light. Nothing really changed, just the ammo location.
And I believe also the mag size, has it not decreased?
It did not decrease. Hard Rockers here are going to spots, and it looks like an enemy Watson. Maybe caught a team while they were in the middle of a fight.
Looks like the other team didn't stick around like last time with our team.
Ooh.
They've seemed to rotate out, try and get out of that poor positioning they had. Hopefully Hard Rockers might chase them down, see if they can get some free damage in.
A Rampart is actually being in play here. That is a very curious pick, I have to say. Oh, and that Rampart has been snared by Seedbot. Ash's snare is just absolutely devastating here. However, Seed taking a lot of damage there. Force him to fire off a Phoenix kit.
Yeah. Got to be careful when you're peeking. It's good to be able to outshoot your enemy, especially your target. Though they weren't that lucky with another team also focusing fire on them while they're chasing down these stragglers of the group that lost a member.
Team 11 does go down here. Hard Rockers in the top 15.
An enemy.
Having locations on opposing players here. Nathan trying to pick up some cheeky headshots. Ooh, gets one good hit on base.
Unfortunately, it was just a body shot, I believe. Nonetheless, clean shield crack
broken there. Ooh, and maybe someone cleaned up there as Carnova is able to bring down Hellfire Joe.
They may run into the team that was on the move as they move into Thermal Station here. Hopefully they can maintain this higher ground above the open lava and avoid taking extra damage. They do seem to spot another team that may be up on the ridge behind them.
Hard Rockers really playing edge with the storm here. If you ask me, it's a very good strategy, to, especially if you have cover, to just play that edge, as you're not going to get caught out too early and crashed on by too many squads. Looks like we might get a respawn here. That is a mobile respawn beacon dropping out. Maybe is that may or may not be the enemy team that had lost it. It appeared to be a Pathfinder early on in that fight.
We'll see what the Hard Rockers do here. They may push in on this team and try and take advantage, but it appears they may hold this position just so they don't get pushed, as it appears the team's already being fired on from the center of Thermal Station.
It looks like over in that respawn beacon, that big green light there, we've got a squad. Unfortunately, there is also appears to be a squad on top of the tower at Thermal Station. That's going to cause a lot of havoc for the Hard Rockers if they try to move in.
Absolutely.
I think they're going to continue to play poke fighting with this team over on this building to the east.
Yeah, R3 still set to automatic. Might be good to set it to single fire if they're going to continue having this poke fight, though 30-30 still dealing out damage like no other, especially on this long-range fighting.
Team 20 is brought down here. The Dawn has bled out to Toxic Tony, leaving Team 20 out of the running.
Spotted a vampire over there.
Looks like Hard Rockers are thinking about rotating into this building, taking advantage of the team running and leaving behind this post, possibly using it to fight the team that is currently shooting at the rotating team and rotating themselves through this choke point, though it might be a bit hazardous with this team now watching the choke.
I think that team may or may not have rotated out here around this choke point. Might have been a good move for them. Unfortunately, Hard Rockers are going to crush in on them. Hard Rockers have got, ooh, that shield cell going off, totally giving away the location of that enemy team for Hard Rockers. Bangalore smoke's being dropped.
Bangalore ult. Looks like Nathan may be stunned here, though with a little luck manages to avoid it. Seed absolutely stunned in that fire. The team might take advantage of this or rotate around. We'll see what they do.
Seedbot taking the brunt of that damage here. Ooh, very good throw of the Horizon Ultimate. We are going to catch one enemy here. Cannot get a whole lot of shots on goal. We do have a snare there by Seedbot.
If we manage to keep the team in this position, it might be good to use that Conduit ult here, especially in that tight zone, but I don't know if Storm's planning to hold it for a future engagement in this choke point. We'll have to see how they rotate around this. Looks like another team may be coming up behind them. If they are not cautious, they could be caught in a pinch here between two teams, which is not a place you want to be. Maybe dragging this team back into the other, bringing on another fight as they push through this tunnel.
There is some, does sound like there was some damage taken by those Conduit ultimates.
Nathan having some control struggle here.
This is, yep, so there is a glitch with World's Edge on that particular ledge where you can get sucked into the side.
Oh no.
It's killed many of myself and many of my teammates here in this last season.
Absolutely. Keeping an eye on the back of this tunnel may be important here. I think Conduit should probably be watching the back. Being able to block the entire tunnel would be important for any possible rotations through it, holding the edge of it for height into this valley, as well as for any future shots that may be taken.
If Hard Rockers have any ultimate, any of those ultimate charge tools, it would be good to use them.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately they don't, and Conduit is left out to dry, not having her ultimate ready.
I don't know what to say, but Watson here holding this tunnel, the backside of it, with some fences as well as the capability to hold multiple ultimate accelerants may be a better advantage here, but unfortunately they still have Conduit to block large area. Now,
I've noticed so far not a whole lot of control players being played. Lots of scan legends, lots of support legends. The support legends are in a very good space right now. Controllers are kind of lacking, with really Watson being the only viable controller after the massive Catalyst nerf this season.
Absolutely. I think it's a big deal of active information being needed in this game. Knowing where to push and what teams to push towards is very key. So using people like Bloodhound or Seer can be useful for scanning those enemy teams, whereas controllers can only scan future rings.
One day I would like to see a massive crypto buff. Just crypto season.
Yeah.
One day.
That would be interesting. Bloodhound scan tagging them here, possibly coming from either direction.
That Conduit ult is almost up. However, I think the Storm is going to buy them enough room to be cautious while not having to waste an ult here.
Absolutely. Hopefully the Storm moves far enough into the tunnel that it's not worth the risk of rotating through, and Hard Rockers here can hold it. Another team moving into the tunnel from the front. Hopefully Hard Rockers can handle it.
Huge damage there by Storm Cobalt Ultimate coming out here. Unfortunately, he pays for it and goes down. The Hard Rockers are completely wiped out as this enemy team moves in and cleans house with them. FP Slapdash, FP Wide, and FP Pedro Hulk.
I think they just caught them off guard. They were spending too much time and concern. Once that zone had moved more than, I'd say, 10 meters into the tunnel, they should have focused on the front because no team's going to push from the back there anymore. This team caught them off guard by rotating around the front of that rock and jumping into the tunnel with a similar idea of getting some coverage, but unfortunately, it caught the entire team off guard and they weren't prepared for that fight.
Team 2 here, Serp, a lone Bloodhound rat. This is going to be an interesting rest of the match there here. Hard Rockers, though, I did notice Storm Cobalt throwing out his ultimate at really a poor time to do so here. You're in the middle of a fight, and the last thing you really want to do is use that ultimate. That's more of your getaway fire off. And he did definitely paid for it. This rat is going to get
seen, it looks like.
It does not look like he's going to get seen. He is going to manage to get away here, picking up some of his teammates'
items.
Shot blocks here. Maybe he tries to go for a respawn? I don't think so. Oh, he is spotted by the enemy team there and
quickly going down. Yeah. Team 2 eliminated.
CCE Death Trooper 454 is bringing down the absolute hammer on here. The FP team is having some struggle with this enemy team here. Bangalore holds going down. There's that Catalyst Veil wall. Doubled up here.
Using it to their advantage to rotate.
Great cover.
Throwing some thermites into the other team, especially their little cover that they do have with that small train car, it looks like. Getting some good shots off and some damage dealt. Clean R9 shots, though that thermite's going to be a real hazard, but with full reds and its height advantage here, repairing shields is no issue.
Great play there by Petrolhulk, using his technical to gain height and heal up at the same time. Brings down 2 of those enemy teams. Team 17 is out.
That Catalyst's little tactical can be very useful for those little choke points where a team may be hoping to regain cover but drops right down into a Catalyst tactical. That can be real frustrating. Getting some shots off on this team moving up the hill, hopefully rotating for some coverage here.
FP here having height advantage right now are not going to have to be too worried about the storm.
Interesting.
As 3 squads are left here as round 6 is about to close.
Interesting use of a Phoenix kit there to repair shields, whether they are low on shield bats or simply just...
I believe what it is they are safe right now. Might as well use that and save your shield bats for later.
Understandable. That does make sense, especially in something like this where the final ring can close a team on each other very quickly. And the need to be able to replenish your health rapidly is important.
We might have a respawn beacon coming down here. We are going to get some enemies back in the game here. It looks like we might be short 1 team member
out of the 3 remaining squads.
Black Edge Sniper Mastery and what is that? Kumai have really good positioning there. They have armors set up for shield swaps.
A fully kitted R99 gold. Useful, very much so, for that Bangalore. Being able to see through
pick that up at Big Mod. This may or may not be the Big Mod team that rotated out before Hard Rockers made their way in.
Interesting, interesting. Continuing to make sure they have their shields prepared, pulling them out of the zone slowly. Team drops in on them, getting some good shots off on that horizon.
2&I going down here. FP getting really brought down the hammer. FP is able to get a shield cells in. Huge damage here. Brings down 2 with so low health and 2 enemies remaining. I do not think FP is going to be able to walk away with this win.
Absolute
huge damage
chaos
there on the enemy Bangalore, but unfortunately it does not end in victory.
Absolute chaos in that final ring there, as always, but 3 teams closed in on each other can really be dangerous.
Congratulations to Fusion Wolf, Madam Mayhem, and Krangadoo.
Krangadoo.
As they walk away with round 2 of this matchup here. Hard Rockers making it into the top 10, but unfortunately getting caught off guard by that FP team and ending in defeat here.
Keeping enough eyes on all your rotation points is extremely important, especially in those choke points.
Well, I think we are going to send you off to a quick break here as we get ready for our final World's Edge map point, and then we will be heading over to Storm Point. It's back in rotation. I absolutely love that we're going back to Storm Point. It's a great map for these loadouts.
Absolutely. It'll be good to see it.
Awesome. Well, we'll catch you in a few.
You better bust it out. Bust it. Bust it. Bust it. Bust it out. Bust it. Bust it. Bust it. Bust it out. Bust it. Bust it. Bust it. Bust it out. Bust it. Bust it. Quit running your mouth. You better bust it out.
In another week, or will we not?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game 3 of 3 on World's Edge and 3 of 6 of this on the series.
Absolutely. Looks like our team will be going back to the chocolate shell, hopefully finding some more good loot. Though
I love Chocolate Shell. It's such a good drop location.
It really
especially
is.
on World's Edge. It's right at the edge of everything, and it allows you to go in.
They may be landing a little short, closer to Lava Siphon.
I think what they're going to do here is hit that geyser and then move over to Chocolate Shell here.
Yeah. So far, amazing gameplay from the Hard Rockers here.
Nathan's leadership really coming in crucial to the Hard Rockers. This is a big rotate here. Luckily, they do not have any opposing teams within their vicinity, so it's going to kind of save them a lot of time and pain, especially being crashed on by another team here.
Early game fights can be a real deal breaker, but being able to loot up and actually prepare is important and very key. And so it's good to see that our team's been given the space they need while preparing to rotate into other fights, possibly catching some of the other teams they saw last game as well, clearly having some tactical advantage over them.
Early loot here is looking very bleak for the Hard Rockers.
R45 Mozam is quite the loadout.
Running that RE45 Mozambique.
I'm already betting he's planning to rotate those guns out as soon as he can.
I think he's going to do it right here. Yes, getting rid of that disgusting Mozambique and running that RE. Ooh, he drops the R99 key. I wonder if he's going to run that alternator again.
possibly, especially with the 30-30 R9 that we saw on Nathan last game, it was clearly a good loadout to have for these peaking fights that they've been having this entire game.
Nathan currently running a car and Nemesis. The Nemesis, I don't like the Nemesis, but objectively it's a very good gun. Getting it ramped up is just absolutely destructive if you can hit your shots.
Absolutely, but for a peak game that may be hard to keep up the consistent fire, needed to actually ramp up the weapon and prepare it for a full-fledged fight. Though by the end of the game, when they're playing mid-range close, it may be very, very powerful, especially being able to just use the hip fire to hit as many shots as you can, as fast as you can.
We do have some early purple armor there on Seedbot. That'll work really well in the Hard Rockers' favor. They'll be able to get that upgraded up to red as quickly as possible. Start getting some damage, start taking some fights.
Plus, any blue or purples found from now on can go to the other two teammates. Sometimes that can be a point of contention as to who gets what armor first.
Not exactly sure what the Hard Rockers are planning here. They do not have a very good storm.
Not nearly as much as not as much resources as they had last time when they moved out of Chocolate Shell either. So really interesting to see how they move through here.
Hard Rockers do have location of an enemy squad there. We noticed there briefly that they are crafting. Team 6 first to go out in this match.
Yeah. Last time they rotated through here, they cut another team off guard, though I don't believe that will happen again, as the last team probably learned their lesson. Being cautious of a team rotating in from behind. This time they rotate around to Lava Siphon, knowing that the team landed there earlier, possibly pushing in on them, but also just trying to get to zone.
I think they're going to just... Seems like it's relatively unlooted on this backside.
Interesting to see. Another team they've rotated already.
Looking maybe to push over into central Lava Siphon. Get some just a little better loot here. Team 20 does go out here as Hellfire Joe bleeds out Dunzel.
Seeing Nemesis Car on Nathan is an interesting loadout, though once again it may be good for that close long range flatline. L-Star on Seed. I don't see L-Star a lot recently because of it once being red and now being back out of the vault.
However, regardless of that, the L-Star, very powerful gun up close.
Absolutely.
You can deal a lot of damage, and it slows you after your shields have been broken.
That is true. It could be a big hazard once shields are broken, but knowing how these teams play, maintaining shield health as much as they can, especially in these kind of peak fights. Maybe looking out for a team that's rotating through still. So I don't believe there is one there. We'll have to see.
There definitely was a squad that landed there. I believe it is the Western Wraiths. However, whether or not they are still there is up to somewhat of an interpretation, as we can see an enemy team rotating in over to the tree.
That might have been the Western Wraiths actually rotating around to tree to see if they can maintain height and keep an eye on Lava Siphon, see where enemies may be. We'll see how the Hard Rockers deal with this, if they keep their eye on it. Looks like they have seen someone though, and they may try to engage here early game, get some damage in.
UTSA White is the most likely team, as they did land at this location.
Interesting to see. We'll see where these teams rotate in from and what Hard Rockers do about it. This is the part of the game where you're just kind of a paranoid looking for other teams, hoping not to run into them too early or without advantage.
It is definitely it's all about strategy here. I've, from my many hours of wasted life playing Apex Legends, I know that positioning is the key to this game. You can win a lot of unwinnable gunfights against teams that are genuinely better, just purely by having great positioning.
Yeah, simple things like rotating at the right time and being aware of what's around you when you rotate is really key. If they're planning to push through this tunnel, they may be watching out for teams holding this choke point, knowing that a few teams did land over here.
Looks like a play was made here. Opponent there.
Oh, spotting
Enemies
a
have
team.
been spotted
think
over
we should
by
go there.
Harvester. Hard Rockers may make the decision to rotate out instead of fight.
Possibly pushing to hold this high ground on this road and move around to some of the rocks on the other side here.
Especially with their current shield position here. Kind of not having the greatest shield. Seabot with that purple shield is going to be nice to have, but both Storm and Nathan running those white shields is really going to put them in poor situations if they get into an early fight.
Unless they can get some poke damage in and upgrade those to blues sooner than later, they may run into some real trouble. Though rotating through this tunnel may be interesting. I don't know if any teams are still remaining on this other side, but it's their best advantage to find more loot this way as well as maintain distance from future fights until they are properly prepared.
Team 17 is brought down by Madam Mayhem Fusion Wolf Alpha, the current champions of this match here. It'll be interesting to see how they fare for the rest of the game.
Absolutely. We'll see what happens moving forward as well as pushing through this choke point, though I believe teams have already moved through here. Interesting to see this team comp has no way of gaining information as to whether or not teams pass through already. This is where Bloodhounds come in handy, being able to see footsteps and looted positions other than just open boxes to rely on where people have been and are going.
Well, Bloodhound would be good, but you know who'd be better?
Who would that be?
Mirage.
Of course you believe Mirage would be better.
Mirage is just better. His tactical is just unrivaled.
I don't believe you.
Well,
Almost
you don't
in the
have to.
slightest.
Enemies have been located by Hard Rockers here, coming up those zip lines really, really loud. Unfortunately, they do not have any location of the Hard Rockers here, and they are going to get pounced on here. Good damage going out. Storm taking huge damage early on. Good placement of the ultimate here. However, there is a trade of Horizon ults.
Unfortunately, that ult getting caught on the edge of that car
Big damage there by Hard Rockers, making great use of that ult.
The unfortunate shield disadvantage really giving them quite a struggle to fight against. A bang ult going down, pushing them out of their cover that they had. I believe the other team has chosen not to revive their Horizon, and instead it looks like the Hard Rockers are also planning to use a balloon here to rotate out of this.
I think this is the best choice for Hard Rockers. Unfortunately, Seed Bob God does go down to that enemy team. Will Hard Rockers try to move back around and save their teammate? I do not believe so. Storm Cobalt here taking a ton of damage here, taking advantage of Conduit's passive to try and get distance away from this enemy team that is surely chasing.
Yeah, having the severe shield disadvantage here with 2 whites versus 2 purples is really difficult. Maintaining health up is the best they can do. Getting some shots in.
Ooh, big damage there. Storm Cobalt is able to bring down that enemy team. Nathan taking huge damage here. They are going to get out as it looks like an enemy team down over on Northern. Oh gosh, this is Northern staging.
Now, good thing they do have a support in the form of Conduit here to possibly still collect the Seedbot banner.
They will need to hit a crafting beacon though to do this.
Absolutely, that may come with risk, but I do not believe they're going to be able to get back the 200 meters. It did appear there was a rat nearby as well down there that may know they are there just due to the firing, and another team beginning to move up here, possibly taking advantage of the firefight they heard and knowing that a team is possibly looting. It looks like if they are planning to rotate up and through, they may get jumped by this rat here.
There is a rat here. Will that rat take the advantage to fire at Hard Rockers?
They may be just hoping for positioning, so they're just going to follow and hope these teams don't see them, which is a fair play, especially in this.
Hard Rockers are down 1 teammate. Is going to make it very challenging here for them to take these team fights. They're going to have to rely heavily on these third parties unless they can get Seed revived.
Looks like a team of 2 is right here, and just Sonar detected them, possibly by chance.
Just taking a ton of damage here. Ultimate and tactical going out.
Using Conduit.
Tons of damage coming out from Hard Rockers here.
Good
You're
use of
gonna
a
get your nades
thermite.
thrown over. Although this maybe is a duo.
It does appear so. I was going to comment, looks like they're down a teammate. Using Conduit's ult to push through on this team and deal extra damage to them from behind. Storm just needs to clean up, and Storm does.
Swipe. Now, if I'm this rat, this is the great opportunity to come in here and maybe get a pick. However, I think he is just going to...
I believe the rat rotated the other way. Ooh, getting caught off guard by another team who's up there using height to their advantage. That
Another
is
team.
the rat, I believe, actually. Or
yes, I believe this is the rat pitch.
Storm.
Storm Cobalt.
Nope,
all on its
team
own.
of 3.
It is not a rat, as it is a full squad here. Storm Cobalt is going to go down to zone and set Hard Rockers into 11th place.
Zone 2 can be such a danger if you're caught inside of it, especially being held out by another team. That team was likely listening to the fighting occurring. They just didn't finish up that duo fight fast enough, but when it's duo versus duo, it can be real tricky.
Especially with having zone closing in on you. Look at this team, though.
Heavy barricades.
Double controllers and Conduit as their support legion. It is going to make it really, really hard to crash in on this team. However,
quickly losing a door because they decided to push out and another team was there waiting for them. I can see why they held this spot, but they are going to have to rotate
harder
out.
for this team to move around.
If they have a
opposing.
balloon, it appears that they might use it to their advantage here. A lot of defense going on, which is really interesting. Good for final zone, but they are still caught outside of it. Just hoping to avoid taking damage so that Watson may be caught a little in the open here. Rampart providing good covering fire for a team, holding this other team out with some extra damage, hopefully.
This team trying to get height so that they can set up these Rampart walls here and take away the opportunity to move.
Yeah, using some walls to keep them out may be good, especially from mantling that wall and repositioning.
Looks like here, Social High 1, the Watson player on this team, is the current kill leader at 4 kills.
That was...
Ooh, and Hellfire Joe goes down.
Two teams going down, caught in this little tunnel.
Here.
Being caught in that tunnel, any tunnel really can be such a disadvantage when you're fighting a team on height. A, you don't have the clearance to shoot at them. B, you're stuck, and the best you can do is move forward or back. So
up there is the Fresno Prowlers. I absolutely love that name.
Yes, it is a good name, and as we saw last game, they did wrap up in first place, I believe. Second.
They second place to...
That's true.
To the team of Wolf Alpha and
You're right.
Madam Mayhem.
Yep.
There does look to be a third team jumping in on this fight here.
An intense zone, being stuck on this wall, several teams underneath, several teams over, and then a couple teams out in the field just using what advantage they have to spot these teams and deal damage and upgrade shields while they can. It'll be interesting to see how these teams rotate, especially stuck out on the open on top of the wall. It may be good height, but it's very open to my knowledge. And these smaller teams stuck in tunnels, as we've seen in the past, is never a good play. It tends to get people caught. So we'll have to see what happens.
Team 1 here, very stuck in this tunnel right now. You've got teams all around them, as well as looks like potentially 3 teams closing in. As if you see over there, we do have that rat, Haley TTV, hanging out, just biting for good placement.
Holding their own and doing their best to just hide.
I love good rat gameplay.
Absolutely. Who doesn't? Good show that positioning's always important, especially if you're just a solo.
The Dawn moving in on an enemy team here. Team 3 trying to contest the Fresno Prowlers. We do have a conduit wall going up.
Possibly using it to rotate here, though it appears that this other team up on the water towers may hold them out. Another catalyst wall being used to...
Even after her nerf, she is so viable.
Absolutely. Having that extra coverage and making sure that other teams can't see you and you have the chance to rotate is very important. Team stuck down low, trying to get on top of the wall, but getting caught out by the Fresno Prowlers.
I love the Prowler gameplay. It is apparently coming out of the care package next season.
But it absolutely decimates while still as a red, wiping that team.
The Fresno Prowlers really fighting for that first place win here. Putting tons of damage on. They are in very poor position though, however, as they're caught between the zone, a wall, and an enemy team.
Yeah. Horizon ult goes down as they get pulled into the zone.
That is a great move there by the enemy Horizon. Dealing that zone damage, especially this late in the game, is absolutely huge.
Good response by the Catalyst, though, to put up that wall so that way grenades couldn't be thrown properly, and taking care of the Horizon ult quickly to get themselves back into a healthy position.
Look at how small this final zone is going to be here.
Absolutely. Strange placement of a respawn beacon, though it may be an opportunity for another team to get their teammates back.
I believe it is going to be a bait, is what they're trying to do, is get this enemy team to jump down on top of them. We're going to get an ultimate accelerant here, trying to get that Bangalore ult back.
Trying to keep eyes off of them. It may be important to get that Catalyst wall back as well to rotate back out, as we know that the Bangalore ult can hit your own team and can cause quite a bit of struggle when it comes to trying to clear space and rotate out. Clean shots with the 30-30 once again.
And it does look like our friend the Rat is nowhere in sight.
No longer with
maybe
us.
He is gone.
Using advantage of height here to shoot on a team below them and upgrade shields, though they were caught off by the team on top, getting extra damage in on them.
That team up top is really making it hard for the Fresno Prowlers to do anything. They drop down maybe a little early, though.
Absolutely thirsting this team member, trying to bait out their other team member to come down. Looks like they did. Hopefully they can clean them up, though, which it appears they might.
Fresno Prowlers are able to walk away with that victory, although
unfortunately getting shot
health
from a distance, yeah. It was a tough position, but they held it well. That top team really punished them anytime they tried to punish the team below them, giving the team below them even more advantage because they were kept safe by another team thirding.
That enemy conduit taking down. Oh, an unfortunate. Team 5 is the champion of this game 3.
Getting pushed back into that zone there right at the end can be such a painful feeling, but good damage, good use of a digi-threat, and combining it with the Bangalore smoke kept them in good position.
Fresno Prowlers were in really good position to potentially take that match. Unfortunately, the team on top of them very much taking away those opportunities, putting lots of pressure on them, and it ended up killing them.
Yeah, even though it was just a duo, the height really gave them the advantage, and it's crazy to see how much positioning plays into any little fight here.
Awesome, awesome. Well, that was game 3 on World's Edge. We are now heading over to my favorite map, well, my second favorite map, Stormpoint.
What's your favorite?
Olympus.
Of course it is.
Olympus is the greatest map
Absolutely.
EA has released for Apex.
Absolutely.
And I really wish they put it back into ranked rotation. But until next season, they probably won't.
Yeah.
So we're gonna give these teams a bit of a break here and send you guys to a break and get ready for game 4.
Alrighty.
You lift me off of the ground, like Close my eyes and I wait for the come down. I used to live in the now. Now I'm wiser to think that we are bulletproof. Teens with thicker skin, now we just bruise. We were hopeless and we're hopeless now. But I remember we threw our fists in the air singing. I remember when we were kids, never scared, yeah. And the sky went dark, we used our hearts to guide us. You showed me you care. And I remember, yeah, I remember. Now, but I remember we threw our fists in the air singing. I remember when we were kids, never scared, yeah. And the sky went dark, we used our hearts to guide us. You showed me you care. And I remember, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Welcome back, everybody, to Game 4 of 6 here. First match at Storm Point. But before we get started, we have some quick stats for you. I've been very, very pleased with Hard Rocker's performance this matchup here.
Absolutely.
Currently 6th place with 21 points.
Yep, Fresno Prowlers are in first with what appears to be 76 points and 33 kills, and BU following close behind in second.
However, if we've noticed here, looking at the stack trackers, 2 through 6, all in the 20-point era. Fresno Prowlers taking this game by storm with 76.
Absolutely.
However, between Bellevue, UTSA, Northwestern, UNCG, and SDM Varsity, very, very close matchup. It's going to come down to who goes down early, who gets more kills, and who's winning this next match.
Yes, absolutely. It seems to be kills are what's driving it all right now, with SDM landing early on the Storm Point map.
Hard Rockers here. We switch over to the game. Hard Rockers here having a very, very interesting pick here. Storm Point, not a lot of fantastic POIs even after the remake.
Absolutely.
And of course, a lot of them, Hard Rockers, are not limited to landing here each match.
This is true, but they may be just landing to practice and knowing the location, especially for early fights. Appears that Storm is running R99 Sentinel.
Storm Point is a much more long-range focused map here, so we are going to see a lot of the dropping of the marksman weapons in favor of sniper rifles here. Of course, we will, as usual, see a little bit of shotgun and a little bit of SMG play here.
Of course, SMGs and shotguns have always been near the top of the meta, and it appears that Nathan's running flatline R9, but possibly looking at picking up a Sentinel.
Possibly indeed here. Now, I would like to note the name of the game is to make top 10.
Absolutely.
Because the top 20 from each division goes to the Premier Finals here at the end of March.
Wow, okay.
So if Hard Rockers can keep up this playstyle, we could potentially see a much longer season.
Absolutely, and that would be wonderful to see. Playing 6 games today, that can be a bit rough, but if they have the endurance for it, that should be good.
I think switching up maps is a very crucial thing here. They're going to see a bit... now, we didn't make note of this here. We do have a switch up in of team comp right now. Seedbot switching to the Bangalore pick instead of Ash.
Yeah, but with a lot of those open distance sites, and unless you get lucky and get a digital threat for a sniper, it may be very key for rotating here, especially in these big open valleys. So
this will definitely save Hard
may
Rock.
help.
This will definitely save Hard Rockers a lot of grief when it comes to those long-range team fights here. Thank you, Storm Cobalt, for the little jazz.
Backpack here. Level 2.
Always fun to keep up spirit, especially in a fight like this. Storm Point being one of the larger maps that can be played, can be a bit of more of a walking sim sometimes, or running sim than a fight.
Octane would be a very good pick to shorten some of those times.
Absolutely.
However, Octane just does not have the viability of some of these other legends here.
Especially
Storm Cobalt has one heck of a loadout there. Almost a fully kitted Sentinel, and R9 with a purple mag is going to be really, really grueling for those enemy teams.
Appears that they're coming up on someone who seems to be split off from the rest of their team. If they find them, they could get some free damage and a kill here. Though I don't know their plans to rotate, so they may not be moving in that direction. Looks like they're moving actually in the opposite direction.
Hard Rockers here
Cheat codes.
maybe should take advantage of this if they manage to spot the enemy player.
Yeah, I'm wondering why Cheat Codes appears to be alone, but they appear to be moving up on them actually right now. Though Hard Rockers cannot see nor hear them.
We can't. I do not see his teammates. Maybe a miscommunication on a drop or some positioning. I do not think there was any solos in the matchmaking, and not to mention, I do not think you are allowed to play solo in this tournament.
Yeah, it's a little strange to see this. I wonder exactly where they are going. It appears they're running in almost the opposite direction of zone. But again, the Hard Rockers are more focused on prepping for future fights. So
Another purple mag is going to be really, really good for Hard Rockers here. They're getting some very good loot. It would be nice to see if they could get some more shields. And
they have come across 3 shield bats and just seem to have left them around. So
shield bats are hard with blue shields because sometimes you should pick them up, sometimes you shouldn't. Purple shields, it's a must, but it's very up in the air. It kind of depends on the player.
It's unfortunate we can't see what they have right now, though. It appears Nathan may be collecting them. Otherwise, they're pretty kitted right now with a blue and purple Sentinel with that good 4x8 on it.
We've got a Nathan with the Skull Piercer 30-30 again.
And an
he
R9.
is going to stay at that mid-range marksman style gameplay.
Interesting audio glitch going on right now.
I think Nathan's just trolling us.
That could be happening too. But once again, 30-30 R9, very good loadout. R3 30-30, we definitely have some of that longer mid-range
Seedbot might be vying to stay more long range here, as while the R301 is a decent gun at mid-range, close range becomes a little harder, and you might be better running an R99.
Yeah.
But if he intends to stay at that mid-range level here, I think it'll be very beneficial for Mines here, especially him playing Bangalore, where he can provide cover for both him and his teammates.
Absolutely. Interesting that he does not have any weapons that do have digi-threats on them or can be meshed with digi-threats. The R9 can, I don't believe Storm is running one with a digi-threat either,
And I believe our single rat has been taken down as Team 11 is wiped off of the board.
Interesting. I really do wonder what they were doing, but free kill and some extra damage, I'm sure that team is happy. More sights for long range being found. A almost full purple 30-30. No skull piercer though for Seed. Keeping their eyes out for other teams that may be rotating into the zone.
Does not look like the outskirts of Watson Town here have been looted up very much. Hellfire Joe is brought down by Serp here.
Serp was, I believe, was Serp our Rat Bloodhound last game too? So it may be
He was not
good.
our Rat Bloodhound last game. I believe that was 2 games ago.
2 games, that's correct.
That is Liberty Red there.
Good to see still around and getting some kills though.
Maybe
Liberty Red
Serp
in
trying to get
ninth.
a little more, maybe some payback on the enemy teams that have left him for dead.
Yeah, hopefully his team's sticking more with him this time. Looks
The
like
University of New Haven Chargers.
Hard Rockers are rotating uphill, almost a little out of zone. Maybe hoping to catch some stragglers who may be caught out, but not finding anyone right now.
That is a good strategy to go off of. And
Ooh.
and they do maybe see, we do have some stragglers here. Oh, and they are low health.
Bang ult
Purple
may be
shield.
perfect here.
I think they're going to use that. Oh, that is a fantastic position for Hard Rockers to be in
Absolutely.
right now. This
Bang
could be-
ult goes down. This time at them, unfortunately, with a couple missiles lodged in the Trident, removing their capability to get out of there, keeping that team pinned in that corner, possibly rotating back around the rock, unfortunately losing out on some damage, but
I think
forcing them through zone more.
Hard Rockers
Oh, no.
maybe. Yep, they indeed are rotating around. I think Hard Rockers were hoping that they'd come back, but with the zone not doing that. Ooh, Nathan has made usage of the ring to drop Sniper Master. He does go down. More than likely, he will be revived, as his team did appear to. The ring has taken out Kunai as well.
Looks like the team got lost in the ring, trying to rotate around that rock and avoid a fight with the Hard Rockers, which is unfortunate because they lose out on damage and kills. But it's another
Well,
team
they
out
will
of the
get
running.
credit for the kills if all 3 of them go down. Unfortunately, for the Hard Rockers, it does not seem like that will be the case.
That is unfortunate. But it was a good play to watch the edge of zone and make sure no one else rotates in with them, keeping their backs clear and getting their way into zone with some decent positioning inside housing. One of these little circular pods placed around the map can be very useful with these open sides for sniping. Keeping eyes on top of Barometer here. Looks like Serp's team is up there actually. Taking a couple
That would
shots.
be Liberty Red hanging out on top of that building there. Good positioning to have. We do have another team on this building. Ooh, great damage there by Nathan.
Absolutely. Looks like one of them does have a bit of a head glitch there, which makes it a hard fight. Possible another team rotating around down this hill with Storm keeping an eye behind them.
Good team play by Storm there, really functioning as that support player role.
Though a couple shots being taken at him.
And they're using the triple take of all guns.
Can be useful for a running enemy, but can be tricky to hit shots.
Did they actually rename the double take to the triple take?
Yes, they did.
Yep.
Yes,
What?
they did.
Oh my god.
Coach T, our stream op right now, was an avid Titanfall 2 player here and cries to himself every day when he learns that Apex is now a thing.
Hard Rockers coming in contact with this other team. Possibly using that bang ult to hold them out.
Ooh,
Getting
C-Bot
some damage in.
Really having a hard time at that close range with that R301 here. However, Hard Rockers in definitely a lot better health position comparatively to this enemy team. We're going to see
There's the bang
ult here. Ooh! All he has to do is round the corner.
damage.
Nathan dealing tons of damage to that enemy fuse.
Storm
does
charging
knock
out.
Hey, 23.
Getting rid of the Catalyst tacticals here, so that way movement around this spot can be more useful.
Hardrockers are going to use height here too, this enemy team.
Good use of
Lots of
Bangor
damage
tactical.
going on. Seedbot trying to, ooh, and we get a huge knock here.
See,
Nova.
Storm becoming kill leader too with 3 kills.
Hardrockers taking down on RMU Blue. Great play by Hardrockers there. Excellent usage of the smokes. I'm glad Seedbot is really coming in clutch for this team.
Absolutely. Being quick to act on those Catalyst tacticals so they aren't taking extra damage while in that close range fight. Taking some shots on some of those teams trying to clean up a little bit with some damage, but making sure to stay on top of their health and being prepared for any future contact they have.
Hardrockers in a bit of a poke fight with the Durham Lord team. However, they're going to have a nice rotate around under this bridge here. Potentially will catch them off guard.
Forcing them to watch 2 positions, whether it's up the stairs around the bridge on the far side or on the close side. Either way, keeping a good set of coverage and not getting too caught in the open. It looks like Nathan's looking for a quick shot on Stumpe up there on top of Barometer.
Just checking out the feed, though, I have noticed Fresno Prowlers getting a lot of kills, really cementing their first place spot right now.
Absolutely. Coming into the half as strong as they did, it's really amazing how much they've kept up the kind of drive here, holding their position well. Interesting what the Hardrockers may do here and how they choose to push up. Getting caught under these bridges can be really dangerous if another team decides to push down from height, though it looks like they will be left alone for the time being. Possible head glitch from Biscuit shooting down on them, but Biscuit may now know their position and the team may rotate towards them.
A few more teams dropping off of this map here, leaving 12 teams remaining. Hardrockers still in the fight here. Pretty decent position. They're on top of zone, and they have great shields, great weapons to play off of.
Absolutely.
Looks like that was the number.
A couple shots being taken at them from the top of Barometer. Maybe hard to move out from this position now. We'll see if they can find a location they can move to with taking minimal damage, though it appears they are still in zone and they may be planning to hold this position, though I wish they would take some more height here. They have cover, so position is position, especially with 3 kills on their team just with Storm.
I think Hardrockers are gonna maybe play it a little slow here. They've got zone. There's no one to their back, which is the important thing here.
Absolutely.
Hardrockers are behind zone. They have good location on 2, potentially 3 teams here.
Fighting each other, they may be able to push in on this as a third and get some free damage as Storm begins to take advantage with his longbow.
I think Hardrockers would be remiss to do that. I think they're gonna just let them fight it out here, get in better positioning, take away the points where they can grab them.
It's fair. Interesting to call out to that point. I think that may be a bit too in the open, though those rocks can be useful. Maybe just pinging them in case there's enemies on it, keeping eyes on positions all around them. With the way the zone is moving in, they may not get a chance to peek out on this building again, and it looks like Seed's looking to take some shots, but unfortunately zone is just a little too close.
BU Longball and Nyx getting some kills on the board here. That is the number 2 team, I believe.
Yes. Staying on top of shields, and 2 more shield bats in his inventory, prepared for what will look like the final fight with a lot of teams.
Oh, and it appears that number 4 team, Northwestern, over on the rocks, does have the bow check.
Yeah,
which is just
such a hazard
terrible
for these types of peaks, especially if they can hit their shots.
Ooh, and UTSA White, top 3 out of the running early in this game. And the death box.
Looks like a death box, or at least a person turned into a death box, taking that.
Hard Rockers may move up here on this Lord Durham team. Taking those shots from that boat check is not a good way to be going. Team 6 does go down.
It may be good.
Miami Esports.
It's so tricky here to know how to push. Personally, I would think use the bang ult to move into this building by forcing the other team to stay inside, though. It's just going to be tricky with such little coverage around. They've got to use this spot. It's unfortunate it's on such low ground, though. This team may be looking for a chance to just kind of unleash full fire
And
using the bang ult.
is going to use that bang ult to get position here.
Absolutely. Pushing that other team inside, getting up quick, trying to avoid getting stunned by the missiles, though. Unfortunately, Horizon does. Nathan may be able to use his tactical here to move on top of the building, but they did stay outside and keep eyes on them.
This might be a good opportunity for Conduit to use her ultimate ability here.
Good smoke, forcing this team outside. Conduit
And
dropping
she
her
does.
ult.
Using that absolutely disgusting hammer point RE45 to deal massive amounts of damage and just massimating cheeky little steal there. We do have a Prowler in play. Hard Rockers able to drop down on Lord Durham.
Storm decimating Team 17.
Walking away. Hard Rockers are going to have great loot right now. They've got a Prowler in position if any of them will run that. Running those disruptor rounds would be huge as well here. Hard Rockers, great position right now for a potential win.
Absolutely, they have good cover. They are close to the center of zone. Looks like another team may be pushing up on them, but being quick to heal back up, replenish shields, and prepare for their next fight. Truly amazing usage of not only their ults, but the zone to keep that team in check from coming outside to actually put on a good show of an attack. Though it looks like Nathan is in a fight right now.
I believe it's just a bit of a poke fight here.
Oh,
We do
really?
have teams all around Hard Rockers currently. 7 teams remaining here. We've got University, we got Liberty Red up top there, going to deal some potentially grueling damage to the Hard Rockers if they're not careful.
Nathan trying to use that Skull Piercer on his 30-30 to deal some good damage to the team that's got height on them.
Storm Cobalt is running the loadout that I like to see. That Prowler RE45 hammer point. He is their close range dominator right now.
Absolutely. Being this late in the game, it's important. Seeing 2 team members with red shields. One
And
with
I
purple.
believe Fresno Prowlers are out.
Wow.
Yeah, Fresno Prowlers just went Prowlers. Fresno Dogs just went down. The Dogs. Hard Rockers are going to get poked on by that Liberty Red team here.
Trying
However,
to use their cover as much as they can.
they
Heal
do
up
have
now.
another team over to their side. Hard Rockers just trying to find some sort of cover here, hoping for the Storm to maybe make that Liberty Red team move.
Covering the Liberty Red team with smoke so they can get the advantage to rotate out closer to center.
Great usage of the Bangalore Tactical, man.
Yep, another Bangalore ult goes out, though I do not believe it is ours. We'll have to see what Nathan does with this Horizon ult. Coming up to the end here, it may be important to place it properly.
I think this would be a perfect time to place that Conduit ult there. Allow the Hard Rockers to get some breathing room here. Oh, those damn Catalyst sticks are just really making it hard for Hard Rockers to move, and Bellevue University is out. Nathan does go down, so does Storm. Seed is the only one left. He is going to go for a cheeky revive on his teammate. Getting some good damage there. Oh, this is not good for Hard Rockers here. Actually, this might be the best
They
thing
have
for
good
Hard
height,
Rockers
actually.
here, as they will have height.
And they can
dropping
keep them in the zone.
And Hard Rockers have won!
Amazing. Great play there. Holding height, being patient, not pushing down, and using the ultimate to keep them in zone, dealing tons of damage.
That is a fantastic play by Nathan H2O. They're using that Horizon ult to suck the enemy team out into the zone and dealing those massive final zone damages, especially when you've got that huge dislocation between zone.
That can be a tough wall to climb, especially around Barometer. And C did a wonderful job having patience and not pushing down, dealing damage, forcing the enemy down, and keeping his teammates revived.
This is the second time we've seen Seedbot not going down with the rest of his team, playing it patient and going for those revives here. We just got to get him starting playing Mirage, and then it would look cool.
That may actually come with some heavy advantage too, especially with his playstyle.
Well, Hard Rockers taking a huge win off of the Fresno Prowlers, as well as the remaining teams could thrust them up into that top 10 location here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hard Rockers have practiced a ton on Stormpoint. It is their go-to for any sort of competition. They're very, very good with it. I am curious to see how the remaining 2 maps go.
Absolutely, me as well.
Awesome. With that, we are going to send you guys to a quick break as we get stats updated and prepped for Game 5.
As you were always on my mind, and you were never far away. And though you'd always take your time, you light the sky up like the
Dropping down, we step aside.
to see some light. When ashes dropping down, we step aside. Smoke is scanning to the sky. You can't believe your senses. You think you've seen it all until you open your eyes. I never wanna be alone. This place is cursed. I want you to never leave my side. I run away with you to see some light. When ashes dropping down, we step aside. We dream of feeling something. I want you. I know we both escape to lose the ground. The world we used to know is burning down. We're always strong enough to build our own. We've been running for ages to search some light. I want you. I know we both escape to lose the ground. We've been running for ages to search some light. We can feel every day after running for nights. We feel so
Nothing. So,
Awesome. Welcome back to game 5 of 6 here on Storm Point. We are coming off of a big win for Hard Rockers here. And actually, this is a great talking point after talking to Coach T here. Hard Rockers do pick locations before the matches and kind of more or less reserve them because those early fights absolutely game deciding.
absolutely. You can get wiped out really early if you have unlucky kind of loot tables. So this is a way to even fights and make sure everyone's going into them more prepared. People are finding fights more so in rotation locations rather than in POIs. POIs end up being fighting locations near those closing zones.
As well as contests are allowed in this tournament here without prior notice. However, there is somewhat of a gentleman's agreement that you don't contest and land at your designated spot.
Yeah, it makes the game more fair, it makes everyone feel like they've actually been prepared for fights and that they're actually going into them on equal footing.
Hard Rockers again at landing site. This is their designated pick. It's a good pick if you ask me.
Absolutely.
Very in the middle of the map, so it allows them to play effectively with zone, but they are having they will run into the problem of watching their back while they're rotating around.
Absolutely. The good thing about Storm Point is that there are so many rocky cliff faces if you're unlucky in a choke. And like we saw last game, Hard Rockers keeps a good eye on what is behind them. They can hold you out of zone really well, and you can be stuck rotating around a rock, taking damage from zone, and just unfortunately getting caught in the open.
Hard Rockers do appear to have been scanned by a enemy scan beacon there.
Yeah, coming from the docks out there on the floating islands. Earlier last game we saw a solo, it appeared, from that direction that rotated around and got caught out. Wondering what happened to their team. They might be back there this time with a full team instead.
That was, I believe, the UCF Knights. Cheat code chain was that particular player.
Yeah.
I do not recall if his team had gone down earlier or if he just loaded in solo.
Yeah, it was unfortunately a situation where he just kind of ran in the opposite direction of zone and must have gotten caught out. Otherwise, the Hard Rockers have been moving with zone very well, checking their choke points and making sure to be prepared for any fights that happen. Storm back with a G7 and an RE45. Last game using the RE45 to get a couple of kills in some very critical moments.
The RE45 with hammer points is just so destructive, especially when your teammates have broken shields for you. You can move in there and do tons of damage really, really quickly. Storm trying to maybe get some cheeky picks here on this enemy team. He does snag one.
It's so interesting because Stormpoint being so closed off by these rocky walls, yet at the same time having such wide open areas, it's almost hard to not get caught out in the open, and that's why seeing that G7 is unsurprising in the kind of composition of their weapons we see.
Hard Rockers shagging spiders for loot here.
Yeah.
Trying to maybe get something good. Spider loot isn't always the best, especially compared to that of Prowler loot.
But it does return you your ammo, so sometimes it's useful. It's not really a waste if you're quick with it and you don't get caught by another team while doing this, though the gunfire can lead teams to you. Teams will be looking to fight in choke points like this, so it is a bit of a risk to do this, but it can prepare them for future fights very well.
Now, speaking of our possible solo from the UCF Knights cheat code chain, did appear to have knocked one of the players from, I believe, Lord Durham. Cheat code chain taking down another, bringing down Sniper Mastery. That is UNCG JV. And he is able to wipe the UNCG squad. If he is solo, that's great on him. If he's not solo, that's also... Oh, and cheat code chain is
Kill
gone.
leader. Oh, yeah.
Cheat code chain is able to wipe a squad.
Yeah.
However, he does go down in the process.
I believe he's still here, actually. I think that said he bled out 2 people and was
He
top
bled out
5.
2 people, but then he was also
I didn't
down.
see it. Yeah, unfortunate.
And given that we believe he is solo,
that's still good on him. 5 kills for his team, even without proper positioning, that's still points earned, so...
Points earned indeed here. It'll be interesting to see if the UFC Knights do place a little higher with cheat code chain still hanging out on kind of as their solo trooper here.
Yeah, interesting to see this uphill rotation from the Hard Rockers, so they may be looking to get height advantage moving back down the hill, though it looks like zone has held them out. They may push through it, we'll have to see. Or they're looking for teams who are getting caught out into this choke and are just looking for a place to go, maybe for some free damage and some knocks. We will have to see.
Stormpoint, a very, very large map here, is allows a lot of room just to kind of chill out. I think that's the best way to put it here, and Hard Rockers are definitely chilling out.
Yes. Nemesis R99 on Nathan for that close range, and we did see the Nemesis earlier.
And it looks like
really work its
University
way.
of Miami Esports has been taken out.
All right. Looks like it'll be interesting to see more Nemesis play. We did see Nathan using it last time as well, or at least a couple games ago, and it did seem viable for that long distance kind of mid-range peaking, but claiming clutch when it came to close range fights, especially being ramped up with that burst.
I would like to see Hard Rockers potentially move in on some enemies here. They have relatively decent loot here. Could take a few more purple shields if you ask me. maybe just being cautious here. Does sound like some gravity cannon firing going off there.
It looks like some teams are moving back uphill right now from this position, and hopefully Storm caught that. We'll have to see what they do and how they position themselves for this fight.
I think Hard Rockers are just going to slowly move up here onto this building and wait for the enemy team to just play. We are going to go for the crafting here, maybe getting some better Evo shields.
Keeping their eyes on the jump cannons here and seeing if they can catch any teams that may come down on them. Knowing that team is uphill, they could also be trying to bait them out with some crafting. Seed running Flatline Mastiff has not put down the Mastiff really this game. Is having some fun with it.
Mastiff this whole session here.
Yeah.
It's
getting some mileage out of it.
And he's getting some good usage out of it. I'm a PK main true and true.
That's completely fair, seeing the damage output of the PK, but if you can hit with the Mastiff, especially close range, it can take someone out.
And we're doing helmet swapping here. Storm Cobalt running the conduit. The big support usage of that helmet is going to be great for that team.
Setting up backpacks so they can carry more resources, preparing for these later game fights, and having good stock of health resources is very important. So it's good to see them all craft that now.
And it looks like CCE, Marigold is been knocked out.
Team 18 and 19 going down. A large fight seems to be happening on the other side of this hill. We'll have to see what the Hard Rockers are thinking of doing, whether that's pushing through here or pushing around on this slope.
We are seeing a lot of... and I would like to note here that it does look like UCF Knights are not solo, as Ata's interest is within the game, along with Cheat Code Chain.
Interesting. I wonder if they're just playing extremely separated, or...
I was curious. I think we might have missed those two going down early in that last match.
Possibly, very possibly, though that's extremely early, especially after the conversation about not really having that early game contention happen, but they might have decided against it, seeing if they can get some advantage by taking a couple fights. Someone already on reds and some gold shields out there. Real risky to get into a fight with them right now. Hopefully looking for some opportunity to get some damage and increase their elo to purple shields.
A lot of teams over in that area Hard Rockers moving into. We can hear some of the action going down. Hard Rockers being relatively cautious here, trying to maybe position themselves into a lot better locations. Kind of caught behind the storm here. We do see there are a few squads in this facility. Hard Rockers are going to potentially get jumped on here if they're not careful here, and shots are fired here. Seabot catching the brunt of that.
Storm using his tactical to make sure that the team doesn't lose too many shields. Looking at rotating around now instead of fighting in those closed quarters where it can be real tricky if someone has the jump on you and you're stuck in those doors.
There is a tunnel over to the right side of this POI location. Hard Rockers do spot enemies over on that zip trail.
Keeping an eye out behind them in case this team decides to rotate around them, and possibly thinking about coming up behind this other team and getting some damage in.
That looks like UCF. That is the UCF Knights. But they are dealing a little bit of damage to here. Trying to get them to run. Nathan caught with his pants down there. And we are going to see two Hard Rocker ultimates coming out, taking away tons of damage. Seabot really getting hit hard there.
Nathan pushing up quick to try and take advantage of this.
One.
Getting damage on one. Bangalore goes out to try and get this teammate back. The team is kind of collecting around. These grenades may help push them off. Unfortunately, getting caught.
Getting tons of damage on to the enemy team here.
Cleaning up quickly from the looks of it.
Looks
Another
like
team
TTV
coming up behind
blind
if they aren't careful.
is spotted. Storm Cobalt goes in for the finish. However, he does get the shield off, and Storm is brought down, but Hard Rockers, great team play to pick him up.
Unfortunately, this zone can be real dangerous, especially as Zone 3. We'll have to see what happens here. A Horizon going down, this team possibly pushing in.
And
unfortunately, Horizon goes down. Seed may be trying to get out
just
here.
Being super cautious, is going to take the option to run. This is probably the best option for Hard Rockers at this point. Ooh, great little spot there. Seedbot has
Not going too far down to have a complete height disadvantage, hiding off to the side and treating his smoke like a cover to make it look like he moved further out.
If he is able to get the opportunity to crawl back up the mountain and grab his teammates, he could potentially hit that respawn beacon up there.
Absolutely.
Although at that point, it'd be like those scenes from Milan where all of China knows you're here.
Absolutely. With this close of a zone, it would be extremely difficult to avoid getting decimated by 3 or 4 teams looking for damage and kills.
Seed having great position here, hanging out in the waterfall. I'm going to have to take some notes, as that might be where I'm hiding the next time my team goes down.
Absolutely. Listening to the footsteps above him, possibly making the choice to rotate down and just rat for position here.
As the zone begins to close here, this might be the best opportunity to just vie for placement, taking the kills that we already have gathered and just using them to multiply via our placement.
Difficult here, moving into what appears to be 2 teams fighting, but possibly holding this building, choosing not to, and instead getting closer into zone, letting these 2 teams fight it out. Really difficult being caught out in the open like this, though. Storm Point being unforgiving with its absolute open valleys.
See, being very cautious here, does not appear to be the only rat. Ooh. Trades the flat line for, and he did give away his position when he opened that care package. It is in his best interests to run away.
But it looks like this team is just too much. Possibly holding digi threats, being able to see right through the smoke.
And
unfortunate.
That is it.
It's a difficult call to not want to take that care package, but it does give away positioning when that happens. Looks like
currently spectating the Fresno Prowlers here. We assume they are the top spotted team currently here. Not a whole, they have been very passive this game here. Not a whole lot of kills. Great positioning though into top 6.
Really good positioning in this building, actually.
Standing right at the edge of zone in a position where enemy teams will not be able to move in on them very well.
The openings behind them from the roof are protected by the zone, with both doors being closed off with a catalyst. The only real way in or out is the stairs underneath, but they seem to be checking them regularly. There is a team on top of this building, but once again, super hard to push down without taking some zone damage. It looks like Slapdash is keeping an eye on the back here, so that way no one can really break in without them knowing.
Not Hard Rockers. Fresno Prowlers really trying to just be cautious again with how they're going to go about taking down these last 5 squads. Storm is beginning to close in. Final round is approaching.
We'll have to see what this team on top decides to do, though. It looks like they'll just hold the height, and the Fresno Prowlers will stay inside as well. I believe they can with the amount of space provided. Taking shots outside the window, seeing if they can hit some of the people who are stuck out in the open here. Pulling up to this platform.
Now, it does appear that they will have to move out of this building to avoid taking ring damage, which could leave them in a very vulnerable position here, as it looks like they have 3 potential teams hanging around this location.
Keeping their eyes on corners, using this window to their advantage, possibly getting some shots off on this team that decided to rotate.
And that was a very poor rotate by that team onto that opposing building. Are going to leave themselves wide open to be shot at by the Fresno Prowlers here.
Pedro Hulk not hitting too many shots with the 30-30, now cleaning up some of those shields and clearing out a couple of those team members.
Dealing tons and tons of damage. Enemy team gets some. Oh, this is
charge rifle used by Slapdash.
Oh, that is Bellevue University there that is getting poked at by the Prowlers.
Real interesting use of the charge rifle at this close range. It does deal a lot of damage, but especially with the changes recently to damage relating to otherwise.
F. Yeah, at the top buttons. Like F1, F10. Yeah.
What team did you say?
Bellevue. B.
You? That's 5.
Yeah. Oh.
Interesting.
No, it's seriously Bellevue. Having a little bit of technical issues here. Our Oct is new to the game.
Trying to see BU's perspective, giving us a bit of trouble. Rotating around to this team that's hiding on the corner, making great use of the Catalyst wall, though really stuck on the outside here behind some barrels, maybe some poor positioning.
UTSA White having really good positioning there. Slapdash does go down. Oh, they are going to get pounced on here.
Damage being dealt out by this Horizon, unfortunately.
This Bellevue team wiping out the Fresno Prowlers. Unfortunate for them again.
Interesting to see use of a conduit.
Oh, and Bellevue throwing down that ultimate here. Trying to perform a similar maneuver to the Hard Rockers, and a poor little rat here gets beamed and leaves Bellevue to be the champions of Game 5.
Taking notes from the Hard Rockers there to win that right at the end using Horizon's ult and decimating the poor rat who came in second place, it looks like.
That was, regardless of that very poor rotate onto that separate building outside of Fresno and getting kind of picked up off, they were very patient and waiting, and as Fresno rotated, they made usage of that Horizon tactical to rotate right on top of them, dealing massive amounts of damage. Must have been watching to see as UTSA White dealt some serious damage to Fresno.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fresno getting really picked out there.
Absolutely.
And as we get some updated gameplay here after Game 5, Fresno Prowlers on top with 63 ports. SDSM varsity, the Hard Rockers varsity sitting in second place with 37. Bellevue very close with 26.
Absolutely, looking good. Glad to see our team doing well.
And after a secondary update here, after game after Game 4, that was Game 4. Now we're at Game 5.
There we go.
Hard Rockers just dropping below Bellevue with 43. Bellevue at 48. This is going to be
see.
This final game here on Store Point is going to be a very quickly decided gameplay, as Hard Rockers need very good placement and some serious amount of kills if they are going to manage to get on top of Bellevue. Fresno Prowlers, however, with 35 kills, is going to be just a little bit out of the reach.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how this game goes down with teams fighting for final position up here.
Hard Rockers, I believe, are once again going to be landing around that same launch pad area here. It will be interesting to see how they respond to their last kind of screw up in the previous game here. Seed kind of getting caught out by his lonesome here. Taking that care package really did not do him any favors.
Yeah, but being caught out by the other team just after a fight really hurt them.
Hard Rockers maybe will be a little more passive this next game here. Taking an early fight would be in their favor, but they need to be very quick about taking these fights so that they end with no contest.
Absolutely.
I will be curious to see. I do not believe Hard Rockers will switch up their comp at all. Nathan once again running Horizon. Storm, I assume, will also be running Conduit again. She is such a crucial player in this season, and I do not think she's going to change very much next season as well.
I'm expecting to see Bangalore again on Seed. Using the smokes was very important for rotations there. But
it was a great help for the Hard Rockers to use Bangalore there, especially that little that ledge that they hung out at, giving them an opportunity to giving Seed an opportunity to catch his breath and really focus on how to approach this next stage.
Absolutely, though I feel like a Catalyst would also be good here. As we've seen, there's quite a bit of Catalyst gameplay. The wall has been extremely useful, and the tactical has been holding doors and rotation points well enough that seeing those damage ticks tells you where people are and keeps you on top of all of the nearby surroundings.
Now, speaking of an interesting strat here, a few games ago I played with a Catalyst player and was quickly brought down by a crypto main who, in usage of the Catalyst wall, was able to throw his drone over onto the other side of the wall, getting those drone pings and able to shooting through, having visibility to shoot through the wall. A really effective usage of a character that you just don't see a lot of gameplay of.
Especially because the Catalyst wall is supposed to typically block that type of information from Bloodhound scans and Seer scans, to my knowledge. So having a crypto that can still quickly get that information over that wall is an interesting kind of face-off with a Catalyst.
Hard Rockers once again landing down here on Launchpad. Similar loadouts as we're seeing here, a lot of short range and a lot of long range, nothing much in between here. Nathan running a Spitfire with a purple mag. He is going to be a demon if he keeps up that loadout.
Absolutely interesting to see. Seed got purple shields off the bat again, and once again we have Nathan and Storm with whites. We'll have to see if they can upgrade those shields soon. Seed running Flatline G7 once again for that long range, and then Flatline can be useful close range if you're careful with the hipfire.
Seed having a very good taste in weaponry choices here.
Absolutely. G7 with a 4x bruiser on it, and then the flatline with a 1x hollow. For close range, that makes the flatline much more viable.
I think he is definitely using that flatline as of a mid to close range viable weapon, as in these Stormpoint maps, you really don't face a lot of teams up close and personal until the very end. And I think Hard Rockers are going to take advantage of this and try to get some early kills and put themselves up on the board ahead of the top two team.
Yeah, absolutely. Be interesting to see which direction they rotate this time around, the zone once again being close to the center of the map and them kind of having any choice on which way they rotate around this rock up here. Knowing they could run into a team on the other side.
Hard Rockers are going to be very cautious here. Once again, slow start as usual. We like to see, ooh, a gold energy mag.
Possible some change up in weapon loadouts just for that.
I think Storm Cobalt is thinking just that exact thing.
Once again, running that
G7 with the hammer points. He is just absolutely in love with that gun. It is so well, and he's using it so good. Maybe he switches it up. Once again, would it be worth trading out for the G7?
It's really interesting to see because the RE45 can be such a tricky one. Either you hit everything or you miss everything and you lose a clip so fast. But if you do hit everything, like Storm has been doing, you see whole team members going down in an instant almost.
At least he's not running a P2020.
Absolutely. We have seen him do that before, so it's good to see it not happening again.
Ooh.
Team rotating up there, though, towards enclosure.
Hard Rockers taking sight of an enemy team here. This is UNCG JV here. Looting a care package and getting punished for it. Ooh, Nathan does take a big shot there from an enemy team hanging over in the opposite side of Watson Town.
Yeah, unfortunately standing a little too still there, giving them an opportunity to get a good shot off on him, but healing quickly and recuperating, getting ready to move back into the fight. This may be an interesting one. Stormpoint tends to hold very long games, like of kind of peeking and shooting back and forth just at the start. It really takes into those final zones that we see things ramp up.
Those poke fights really have a big, can leverage a lot against some teams, taking away shield batteries and syringes here. And if on the off chance you can get knocked, a lot of these legends have very quick movement abilities that can get you in and out of those fights in almost an instant, leaving you almost very vulnerable to an opposition attack.
Absolutely, and especially with the drain on resources early game, you may not get a chance to replenish those, leaving you kind of stranded for late. Maybe getting some shots off for free on some of these guys, charging up the hill without noticing first. 2 clean shots with the Sentinel, maybe another.
Hard Rockers getting some great damage here on the enemy team.
Them using their Bangalore very well to protect.
Great conduit ult there by Storm Cobalt.
Interesting, preventing them from backing up, but also preventing them from moving forward again once they're through it. We'll have to see how this team repositions to fight. Looks like they're kind of just caught in the open though, using the building to their advantage as best they can.
Hard Rockers really putting a lot of pressure on this enemy team.
A Bangalore ult coming down.
An opposition's conduit ult has popped.
Getting stunned by that ult ever so barely at the last second. Really unfortunate. The team now knows that they've taken a bit of damage and scanned them immediately, hoping to get some shots off. Flatline coming in handy for that mid-range fight, as we are seeing a bit of a struggle with the snipers here.
Hard Rockers giving up high ground to move in, and now unfortunately is losing to this team. With this zone closing though, we could see a potential shift.
Unfortunately, it doesn't look like any damage was done there. Most of them inside or just out of range.
Ooh, a few no regs there.
Yeah, unfortunate. Always a little sad to hear it, but not get any damage for it.
H2O really fighting hard there. Storm Cobalt is able to drop 2 enemy players.
Coming in from behind and trying to use some grenades to clean up a little bit on the inside there.
And it looks like Seedbot, using that flat line, is able to bring down 2 Toxic Tony. Bishop Esports, C in the lobby.
Absolutely. 2 kills on Storm once again, cleaning up with that RE45, doing insane damage once he gets behind them, while the rest of the team holds the front and keeps their attention, giving Storm the opportunity. We'll have to see if other teams move in on this, which they will, having heard the fighting. Now they're fighting on the other side, using the building to their best advantage.
Hard Rockers, maybe in their best interest to use that jump tower to get out. Nathan H2O going down here. This team moving in very quickly. Storm Cobalt dealing tons of damage, is not able to take down that enemy horizon here. Seedbot going for a cheeky revive, is caught in the middle and goes down early. Hard Rockers not having a good day today. However, UTSA White also going down in the midst.
Really unfortunate to see, but they did just get caught on the other side of the team they fought. If they had acted as quickly to get in and get out, replenish their shields and get on the move, they may have not been caught like that, but they could have also been caught on the uphill, kind of how they caught that other team.
Bellevue University, the current number 2 in this matchup, cementing their spot.
In second place, absolutely. SDM may be struggling for this third. We'll have to see how the rest of this game plays out.
With UTSA White going down as early as they did, I think Hard Rockers will have a very viable chance of maintaining that third place spot. It will just depend on how Northwestern and Durham Lord perform.
Absolutely. We'll have to see how the rest of this match plays out. Really interesting to see, though. Taking advantage of fighting that they heard and holding that upper ground, it's so crucial on this map. the hills and valleys, the hills being in choke points, making them a good place to be, but also a bad place to get caught, and POIs being in valleys, giving you the advantage of having walls and housing, but being shot at from above can be so hard to deal with.
PTU Black going it down to UVU Green will help that team try and make up their missing points from the last few matches.
Using as many balloons as they can here to rotate around, really interesting. Getting around these rock faces can be super hard. Coming in on Barometer here. No other teams here right now though, which is super interesting. We'll have to see how they use this to their advantage.
For all our viewers watching out there, thank you for supporting Hard Rocker Esports here. This is our first big Apex stream of the season. We are very excited to be part of the Octane Collegiate community, and we thank them for giving us the opportunity to stream these upcoming matches.
Really has been a wonderful opportunity, and it's great to see all these teams playing together.
Also, RacoonGod, shout out to you for coming in on late notice to help me cast. We very much appreciate that. I know it can be a interesting trials and tribulations of the casting team, so we welcome you today.
I was happy to be here, and I was already planning to watch, so I was happy to see the notification and help out where need be. I greatly enjoy Apex.
Closing here. Not a whole lot of action since Hard Rocker's going down. Unfortunately, Team 16 does bite the bullet early. RMU Blue is out.
We'll have to see. Looks like one team is watching an armory that another team may have slipped into. We'll have to see what happens here.
Here is the Fresno Prowlers, the top team here, looking for another victory here. So far, I believe they have only won once.
But they are holding a spot near the top of the scores just due to kills alone. Really holding down their fights and doing a great job at rotating around the map, cleaning up where they can.
With consistent top 5 placements, even top 3 placements here, Fresno Prowlers have been an absolute menace of a team to break down.
Yeah, unafraid to take shots at anyone and everyone, being ready to fight where and when they can. Really interesting to see. Catching sights of 2 different teams and getting prepared to engage them whenever they get the chance. Holding this spot on the jump cannon as well, being ready to rotate out of here. Holding people out of this choke as well.
It appears Northwestern is out of the running here as their final player, IC Swede, goes down.
Really interesting to see. It looks like they've caught another team out in the open. We'll have to see what happens. Shots going off already. That conduit luckily making it to a more cover. Horizon.
Slapdash having a bit of a hard time hitting those Sentinel shots here. Sentinel on moving targets is very challenging to do here. Much more inclined for more of a longbow type gameplay. Biscuit and Durham Lord dropping off of the map here as Team 17 is eliminated.
Looks like the duo that they were just shooting at could be moving into another team fight, which it looks like they did. Passing through that conduit wall, or catalyst wall, making it really tricky to get eyes on them. Knowing that a fight is occurring behind them, though, it's hard not to push that and see if they can get some more
The
kills.
Ring claiming yet another victim here.
Oh, wow.
I know in the recent changes they made the Ring a little bit more potent, and it's definitely showing it here today.
It's forcing teams to not just play the waiting game, but really have to rotate into one another and fight. Interesting to see them holding a bridge like this. Possibly looking for better positioning or where to move to next, what team they can fight.
UCF Knights stuck in that bulb there, getting poked at by 3 angles here.
G-code chain.
And Usum both surviving here as at his interest is unfortunately been knocked out here. A minute 10 before Ring 4 closes, and we see a final ring going on. Team 8 is knocked out, leaving room for...
Appears they've caught a straggler. Social H1, I believe.
That is, it appears to be the remaining player on. Oh, let's see.
They are pushing in, happy to take this kill and some more free points. Unfortunate the conduit wall didn't make it out and getting caught out before they could respawn their teammates.
However, great. It's an interesting play there by the UFC Knights there. If they would have waited for that respawn, it could have been potentially 3 additional kills instead of 1, with the risk, though, of getting taken down by that team being respawned.
With a 2-on-1, that could be tricky too. Even if you are coming down with nothing in your inventory, punches can be really hard to deal with if you don't
that
treat
would
it
be
from
the
distance.
case if those changes were remained, but however, in the recent season, you now respawn with the armor you died with and your weapons.
Really? That is really interesting.
It makes these respawn fights a lot more challenging and a lot more worth it, especially if you have those crucial 5 seconds to get your respawn team, your dead team back in.
Absolutely. We'll have to see where this team moves to, knowing that they're kind of getting closed in by the ring here and stuck behind some rocks. Looks like a team is coming up on them, though, so unless they rotate quickly and don't get caught in the open here, this could be really tricky. This might be a spot for a Bangalore ult to hold them out.
You managed to notice where this enemy is at, and the Storm may be claiming these 2 players.
I really think it would have been important to throw that Bangalore ult out earlier, but holding them out of the...
And CCC Marigold has been brought down by a combination of the duo UCF Knights and the Storm. We do have a rat hanging out there that was just spotted. Ooh, Fresno.
Unfortunately getting caught off guard, trying to rotate up to some high ground. Use some NCCC, kind of stuck out here,
UFC
though not
Knights.
a bad spot.
UFC Knights do have a rat to their left here. Not sure if they should take that fight or not. That rat is going to leave, though. Probably the best way to go about that here.
Providing some smoke screen there for their conduit to move back around and grab some of the loot off of that dead body.
And it looks like Liberty Red just going down. 6 squads remaining here. 16 player teams in play. We know a possible rat, as well as the devastating Fresno Prowlers team, and a duo of the UFC Knights.
Really unfortunate to get spotted out there. We'll have to see what happens. 3 buildings inside this zone that I'm assuming.
Bellevue University, we just saw a glimpse of them. They're down 1 player here. We'd really like to see them go down.
Absolutely.
Just as a revenge play for the loss of our Hard Rockers team. Yep, Gisoston and Jos M. It wasn't a rat.
Appears there's a duo, yeah.
It must have been a duo then.
We'll have to see where this Bang ult pushes people, though quite a few of them are already inside. Conduit not having her ult back yet, and I don't know if the Horizon does. Horizon does. Could be very useful at the end of the game, as we've seen the Horizon ult has decided a couple of these games by pulling teams out back into the zone. So this duo could still make it, though it would be really handy to have that Conduit ult back by now, though I don't think they will.
Saving that ult is going to be huge for this duo of Bellevue here. They are just going to, I think, be passive here. Let these remaining 5 teams fight it out and try to get some position.
Absolutely. Making sure, even though they've spotted enemies through that window, not to take shots. They don't want to reveal their position. They really want to hold, so that way they can make it higher in the ranks here.
Sounds like an enemy hanging out below that team there. Fresno here really trying to push in for some kills. Try to, what looks like they have no kills currently, and they're trying to get something on them, and they do, as that enemy conduit is knocked. Unfortunately, her ultimate does come out, which is going to deal tons of damage and kind of
keep them out of that building.
Down that building here.
That Horizon That other team must have been caught up there. More fighting happening on height here as the zone moves in. These buildings being left behind. Seeing if they can catch the stragglers out here as they try to rotate back out. I believe that is BU.
Bellevue.
But Bellevue, yeah.
Losing out on one player and does go down. Fresno with their first kills of the game.
Yep, that looks like position 5 for Bellevue. We'll have to see where FP makes it.
Hanging out in that smoke, taking big damage here. Fresno Slapdash is able to get away there, using Bangalore to her strengths.
I believe that was also a super glide off of a death box, using a smoke to get away.
Very good mechanical gameplay here.
Great shots with the Prowler, though the other team taking
Slapdash
advantage
goes
of
down here. 3 teams remaining here.
Another team taking advantage of a strange angle, and a catalyst wall goes up, deterring teams from pushing in.
And Fresno does go for the revive. This will be very poor revive positioning as
but going
Wyatt does
unspotted.
go down here. They are going to get caught out from zone. Petrohulk getting huge damage dealt to him here.
Staying inside the smoke and hiding.
Using those digi threats in the smoke is absolutely beautiful gameplay here. Slapdash is the only one left getting tons of damage dealt to him. You got one team on top of him, really making it hard, struggling, and it does end in Fresno losing this game and leaving BU as the victors.
Really interesting
This is their
to see.
3rd game that they've won. Way to have a really good final matchup as BU takes 3 of the 6 matches today.
Absolutely. We continue to see the final decider getting pushed out into zone and having the high ground right at in those final moments. That seems to be such a strong decider for these teams.
With all the places to hide in Storm Point, it really does come down to those games that involve lots of storm play, lots of final circle rings, and making use of those Horizon and Conduit ults in that final ring is so big. You saw lots of Conduit ults, lots of smokes, as well as a few Horizon ultimates that really kind of decided how that game was going to end here. As we get our final points on the board here, 6 games. The top 3, Fresno Prowlers with 103 points, 47 kills. Bellevue University Varsity, 55 points, 30 kills. And sitting at number 3, our very own South Dakota School of Mines and Technology Hard Rockers with 46 points and 20 kills. That is a great showing. That is a great first week by Hard Rockers here. We'll be with similar teams the remaining 4 or 5 weeks that we compete here. So the possibility of getting into these bigger finals is very prevalent for the Hard Rockers, and we could see some very good gameplay. Potentially we'll see some gameplay from their secondary sub Titan, and if on the off chance that somebody else goes down, KnightFall could potentially be played.
Absolutely. Either way, it'll be very entertaining to see how these future matches play out and to be here streaming them up until the premiere and everything, I believe.
That would be very good indeed. I am so happy that we got to stream some Apex today. I love the game, and I'd rather do this than do homework, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. I can agree with that one.
Well, I think that is going to about do it for us here. We'd like to shout out our sponsors, Intel, Blue Peak, Lenovo, Omnitech, Live Hospitality, Under Armour, and all the people that support Hard Rockers Esports. We thank you so much. Who?
One of the techs, I'm pretty sure.
I said Omnitech, didn't I?
I don't think you did.
I did. Okay, well then
You
maybe I
said
did.
LinkTech or Omnitech?
I said LinkTech and Omnitech.
I swear I didn't hear Omnitech.
I heard Omnitech.
I might be going crazy.
Coach T going crazy in the corner there. He is just
I hate it.
he just hates Apex.
It's what happens when you're stream op, you know?
And that's what happens when you play League of Legends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you all to our sponsors for supporting Hard Rocker Esports. We very much appreciate it that you allow us to do this. Thank you to Octane Collegiate for allowing us to stream this week. And thank you, Raccoon, for jumping in and helping us out today.
Yep,
If you are not subscribed to all of our socials, we will link them in the chat here. And if you are a glutton for more Hard Rocker Esports, smash that notification bell so that you know every time we upload here. We will have a podcast tonight at 7:30. Off the Grid Season 2, Episode 1, The Return of KnightFall. It's going to be a fun time. And also, make sure you watch the Super Bowl. Go 49ers.
fantastic.
Fantastic indeed. With that, we thank you for watching, and we will catch you next time.